Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 19th. We only have one more day to go before Biden is inaugurated. But this story I'm going to tell you is not about the United States. It is about the pandemic. And it's about a small country in the Middle East that is handling the pandemic much better than we are. Now, it's true, their population is probably 1/1000th of what our population is. But they got their act together. Yes, I'm talking about Israel. I'm going to tell you about Israel and about the terrorists that are in prison. People who came to Israel and were captured and came to Israel meaning to kill. And they are incarcerated. And the pandemic is raging. So they, too, could be victims of the pandemic. And many in the world would say, screw them, let them die. But not Israel. Israel has a different worldview. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but they treat the terrorists. They allow them and their families to be treated in the hospitals in Israel. Would we do that? I'm not sure. On Friday, Israel started vaccinating the prison guards and the staff. And the operation to give shots to all prisoners was begun yesterday. Once all the staff had received the first of their 2 shots of the Pfizer vaccine. Now, most of you by now know that the Pfizer vaccine was developed by a lot of Jews who work for Pfizer. So maybe that's why Israel chose Pfizer vaccine. But I doubt it. I think they would have taken any vaccine that was available to them. Then on Sunday, the prison service conducted a small pilot test giving vaccinations to about 20 prisoners in preparation for the official start of the operation to inoculate all prisoners on Monday. I don't know what the test means if you give it on Sunday and you start on Monday. Maybe they were waiting to see if there was some allergic reactions or something with the test cases. But in any event, they started vaccinating on Monday. It wasn't a decision that was made lightly. There was opposition. The Internal Security Minister, Amar Ohani, was overruled by the Attorney General, who said that Ohani did not have the authority to bar prisoners from getting the shots until after all other Israelis received a dose. So there was opposition, and they didn't want to give the prisoners the shot before all the Israelis had been inoculated, which would sound reasonable to most people. He said, why should I waste a shot on somebody's trying to kill us? But it was overruled. The health ministry warned of outbreaks and called for prisoners to be vaccinated. Ohani's obstinance had to be settled by the Supreme Court. There were several human rights organizations that were against his decision. They criticized the decision because it was late in coming and corona cases had risen in the jails. They said the state had failed to maintain the health of the people it holds in prisons and had endangered their health and their lives. The discussions were pretty heated. They claimed that Ohani lacked professional, ethical, and moral basis. And Ohani fired back, saying, there's a lot of disinformation and false news written by political and media sources about my position regarding the inmates' vaccines. My position was and is and remains that first you vaccinate the prison staff, because the staff are the ones going in and out of the prisons and not the prisoners. And therefore the infection level among them is higher. I don't know whether he means the prisoners' infection staff is higher or the prisoners themselves is higher. In any event, Israel has started vaccinating the prisoners in their prisons. Now, in my mind, I'm not sure I would want to vaccinate terrorists. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because these people are not going to change their minds. The terrorists are born and raised and have spent 20 years or 30 years or whatever their lifespan is hating Israel and hating Israelis and being taught in their schools to hate and kill Israelis. So why do I want to save their lives? And eventually they might be released from prison and go back to their old ways. So I don't know if I could make that decision like the Israelis did. I don't know how many of you out there could make a decision like that. In any event, it proves that the Israelis value life more than many other countries, and that they are prepared to put their citizens in danger to save the lives of people who would kill them. So, I don't know. I really can't get a handle on this entire thing. When I look at the people who rioted in this country simply because a president was not reelected, I wonder where humanity is really going. But when I looked at the thing that Israel did in the hopes of saying to their enemies, we are better than you, because I am sure that any Israeli in an Arab prison will not be inoculated. So that's what's going on with the pandemic in another part of the world. And we should recognize that we are not alone in this fight against the COVID-19 beast, that we have a lot of help out there. So I'll leave you with that, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.